Well, ladies and gentlemen, I ended up talking about Flintlock, and Flintlock is a game. It's an action RPG that's coming out from a company that owns A44 Games, which is Kepler Interactive. And we're talking about this company because Kabrutis tried to get this company to basically talk about the Sweet Baby Inc. involvement. The company actually reached out to Kabrutis first and said, hey, don't put our game on the curator list because we are not involved with SBI anymore. We got rid of everything that SBI did. Kabrutis asked for proof. They didn't want to give proof. They didn't even want to have a conversation with him. And essentially, it got added to the list. Now, we have someone who works for Kepler Interactive. She's a senior operations manager. Her name is Lissy Kane, and apparently she's having a complete and utter meltdown at Grums on Twitter for the simple fact that she can't disprove the SBI involvement.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
So we have an article here from that Park Place with a headline that reads, Kepler Interactive Senior Operations and Growth Manager Lissy Kane rages after Flintlock The Siege of Dawn was added to the Sweet Baby Inc. boycott list. So let's get into this article, guys, from that Park Place. But of course, before we do, if you are new here, just consider hitting that subscribe button. I would greatly appreciate it, and like the video to push us out into that YouTube algorithm. Now, really quick, before I want to preface this before we get into this article about this person, Lissy Kane, okay? She decides to want to say and get mad over the fact that the game got added to the list, right? The game got added to the list knowing that SBI was involved, and she's getting mad because herself and other people in the company informed Grums and everybody else that SBI was not involved and that the game is going to be completely removed of everything from SBI. We asked for proof. We didn't get any proof. Then what ends up happening, the game gets added to the list, and what happens? This person, Lissy Kane, exposes herself. She exposes herself and her entire company by raging on Twitter against Grums and Kabrutis and calling them the same exact things that SBI would call them in return. She calls them alt-right. She calls them essentially bigots. All this stuff. She does the same exact thing, ladies and gentlemen. So it's very clear that the rot goes well past Sweet Baby Inc. when it comes to Kepler Interactive and A44 Games. But it says Lissy Kane, the Senior Operations and Growth Manager for Kepler Interactive, the video game developing, publishing the upcoming Flintlock The Siege of Dawn, shared her rage to social media after the game was added to the Sweet Baby Inc. boycott list. Now, also, too, it goes to show how this list that they try to say is just a small group of fringe gamers that don't mean anything, right? That's the mainstream narrative. Imagine raging over the fact that the game was added to the list, a list that you say doesn't matter, a list that you say has no power. It's very interesting, and yet here you are raging over it. Brazilian gamer Kabrutis Rambo announced the game's inclusion to the boycott list, posting on X, hey guys, I added another game to my curator list. The game is called Flintlock The Siege of Dawn, and as shown in this physical copy of the Edge magazine, it involves Kim Belair, Sweet Baby Inc. CEO. I have waited a bit before deciding to add this one because a dev from Flintlock team reached out to me through my mail stating that they eradicated the SBI part and basically remade it completely. At this point, together with my staff, I have decided to give them the chance to prove this, allowing us access to the game pre-release and asking their manager to have a conversation with me. They openly refused both points, leaving me without any way to confirm what they are telling us. This doesn't speak well about them, so yeah, new game added to the list, he said. Now, following this declaration, former World of Warcraft team lead Mark Kern revealed that the entire game had been ruined by Sweet Baby Inc.'s Kim Belair and A44 Games' former Chief Operating Officer Audrey Tops Harjo. Kern shared this information to X, writing proof. Sweet Baby Inc. ruins games. SBI game Flintlock by A44 Games has been overrun by woke. I used to work there. Flintlock was a good project with lots of potential, and then it was ruined. Ladies and gentlemen, really quick. So I made a video about this already, and I talked about this on Hypnocast as well. Grums just exposed the entire thing with Kabrutis. They are absolutely destroying this developer, and I love to see it because you know what? They think that they could just lie to gamers and get away with it. They think they could lie to you, and you're just going to eat it up. You're never going to question anything. Gamers are stupid, XYZ, etc., etc. Well, guess what? That is not the case, ladies and gentlemen. You guys are getting absolutely nuked off to the face of the freaking earth, and it's hilarious to see all of this go down. So I'm glad these two are working together to keep these developers on check, essentially. They're all nervous. Every single one of them are nervous. That's why they're all melting down. They're quitting their jobs. They can't do their activism anymore. They're crying about it. It's amazing. So then it says, following Kern's thread, Kane took to X where she wrote, absolutely fuming, vibrating off of the effing plane of reality. This piss weak pseudo-journalism, okay, pseudo-journalism, strike number one, and the far-right Gamergate are taking is so vile, incredible to see in real time and closer to home. How wrong Grums is and how damaging he and his weirdo troop are. So, ladies and gentlemen, Lissy K decided to expose herself. She's calling people pseudo-journalists. She's calling people far-right Gamergators. This is exactly what SBI would have done if they were talking to these people as well. If they were talking to Grums, if they were talking to Cabrutus, they would use these same terms. They would use these same buzzwords. She has exposed herself to be rotten to the core, just like SBI, ladies and gentlemen. So if she, who works at Kepler Interactive, is this woke, what do you think is happening with the developers over there at that studio? I guarantee you, with or without SBI, they are going to be woke as hell. Then Karen would share this post as well as information from Kane's website, which now has been locked down. Apparently, they locked down the website for a harassment campaign, right? In fact, she is now claiming she's a victim of harassment, but as Karen questions, she went protected immediately. So how could she have received any harassment? More lies. Of note, Kane is the co-founder of Girl Geek Academy, which states on its website that its goal is to bring 1 million women and girls into technology careers by 2030. Through a range of programs in industries such as games, startups, 3D printing, design, and aviation. It adds, we work to tackle structural issues facing women and girls in technology by influencing families, corporations, government, schools, and the tech community. The organization appears to discriminate based on gender. The About section states, we started building programs for women after we ran the world's first all-women hackathon in 2014. We quickly realized if we had started teaching children 10 years ago, we could be hiring them today. So now our programs teach women, girls, and families across a range of different industries, including games, startups, 3D printing, making, etc., etc., etc. Furthermore, the site claims that since women are not naturally interested in technology jobs, that there was some kind of structural problem that it needs addressed. It's amazing how they will constantly try to convince women that they should take certain jobs, when truth be told, the two genders that exist in this world, they choose specific jobs for a reason. They have natural instincts that prosper in certain job environments, right? Men prosper in stuff that's more physically active, in stuff that takes a lot more physicality to actually perform. Men prosper in that stuff, right? Stuff that, most women would deem nasty or whatever the case may be, men prosper in that because they're willing to get their hands dirty. Women tend to prosper in more nurturing fields or education fields. That's what they tend to prosper in, and that's why they tend to go for that over the physicality jobs. There's nothing wrong with saying that, right? So unfortunately, when it comes to technology, women tend to lean towards tends to lean away from technology jobs. They tend to go for the jobs I first mentioned in the video. They're not going to go for the technology jobs. You could try to push it all you want. Yeah, you're going to get some few and far between. Listen, it's not an absolute, okay? Obviously, you're going to have some outliers that are going to be interested in technology, but ultimately, most of them are not going to be. Most of them will be more likely to get into makeup or something like that than they would, or fashion, than they would to get into technology. The site reads, gender inequality ain't going to fix itself. Oh, here we go with that gender inequality nonsense. We were shocked. We thought, wait, if no one has done this very basic thing to support women, what about the hard stuff? Who's working on that? And that's when we realized if no one else was working on these structural problems, we had a responsibility to try and tackle them. Ladies and gentlemen, the fact that she believes that there's a gender equality and all that other nonsense tells you everything you need to know about this person. They can try to pretend all they want that they got rid of SBI and everything is totally good now. You don't got to worry about nothing. Ladies and gentlemen, that is a lie. We can see right here, just the way she's acting, that the rot runs very deep over there at A44 Games and Kepler Entertainment, and removing SBI is going to do absolutely nothing. So, Cabrutus, you made the right call. Keep the game on the list from here on out. So, anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you did enjoy it. If you did, consider leaving me a subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. Don't forget to like the video, comment, let me know what you thought, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Hypnotic out.